Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is another tag. Crazy, right? Because I haven't done tags in a long time, and this is the second one in a row if you're going through in order of my videos. If not, then you don't know what I'm talking about, and I apologize. But this tag is the W.I.P Tag 2022. I guess there were other tags about whips in the past, but we need to say it's for this year. I don't know about the other tags, but I'm ready for this one. It's only 9 questions, and I don't know who created this tag. Someone just sent me a video about this particular tag from Year of the Author, and they're like, oh, you should do this one too, because it's only 9 questions, but you can go in depth or not go in depth. I think it would be interesting. I was like, okay, I'll do it. I have my handy dandy cauldron, and the 9 questions are in here. They're just going to be very random as I pick them out. Here we go. Okay, so question number 3 is, what genre does your book fall under? I'm going to go with fantasy. In the beginning, it was historical fantasy, but there's just too much fantasy involved for me to say that it's historical. Unless my editor says otherwise, I'm going to go with fantasy. It's Irish fantasy, to be exact. This is going to be set in the Iron Age, the very beginning of the Iron Age in Ireland. Question number 7, what other books would you compare your W.I.P to? I would say anything that is historical fantasy or just straight up fantasy with Morgan Llewellyn. I can't particularly find a book that is straight up fantasy that is set in Ireland in ancient times. Can you find it like the Iron Druid Chronicles type of book? Absolutely. That's modern though, and I'm sure they're out there. Don't come at me and say that I'm being stupid and there's obviously like a bunch of books. That's why I said Morgan Llewellyn. I use a lot of myths and legends and just what we know about ancient Ireland, specifically in the Iron Age, which isn't a lot, honestly. I tried my absolute best to get the history that I do know about it in my 3rd book, Danu's Curse, which we're talking about. I should have said that in the beginning. Yeah, this is my 3rd book. Hi, hello, you're 3 minutes in. You're like, what's going on, Nicole? I don't know. I'm just winging it. I forgot like this was a little bit different setup, like with the title and stuff. My bad. But I do also fall under the idea that there are some main gods and goddesses that I talk about. I'm not using all of them because that's a lot, and I am personifying them. What's the working title of your book? I should have just did this and then the other ones, but it's fine. We're working with it. It's Danu's Curse. So it's named after what you would say the mother goddess is if you pick her. There's some other kind of mother goddesses, but we're just going with Danu because we're making it simple. Okay. It follows Ness, who was given immortal abilities even though she's mortal. She can control 4 elements. Now I say 4, and if you go back and you kind of look at the history of Ireland, you could say, you know, there are many instances where there's 7 different elements. I'm just making it simple. Really don't think that like stone needs to be its own element, for example. That's just earth. So 4 elements, and as to why she was given these magical abilities, you'll find out. We'll find out. Okay, number 6, how long did it take to finish your first draft? Amazingly, it only took 5.5 months. And that was in 2020, but I sat on it for quite some time because I was working on my 1st and 2nd novel, and I was working on publishing 3 poetry books, so there was a lot going on. But yeah, it took less than 6 months because there was a lot of sangria involved and a lot of writing sprints. And it was during the time of COVID, so like what else am I doing, basically? What else? There was 1 week where I wrote 10,000 words. It was, I mean, go for it. Then I started my 4th book and I only got 20,000 words into that, and then I just completely stopped writing drafting, but I focused a lot of editing, but I still think that's good. Yeah. First draft was 78,000 words. So yeah, 78,000 words in 5.5 months. There you go. Number 5, what's the 1-sentence synopsis of your book? I hate these stupid questions. I can't focus enough to do 1 sentence unless it's gonna be like a really long run-on sentence. I can totally do those. I do those in my works and I do them in real life, so let's try it. Ness was born with magic in her veins, but she doesn't know why until her uncle betrays her and her loved ones, and she has to decide to save her life or those around her. Oh my god, that was fantastic. I need... No pressure. I need to save that. I'm gonna watch this back and I'm gonna write it down, and then I'm gonna use that for an Amazon ad. Fantastic. Thank you everyone for being with me on this synopsis journey today. It was a win. Number 9, what else would pique your reader's interest in this book? Well, I think it has a lot of Irish history, mythology, and legends, and that's kind of rare to find nowadays. It was kind of a big deal, I think, during the whole, like, 100 years for Irish Americans, probably not for everyone else, but for Irish Americans or people that were interested in the Celts, to have fiction books, or non-fiction, but specifically fiction books written about Ireland. And you can see that a lot with Morgan Llewellyn, who's my favorite author, and some other authors as well, but they've kind of been forgotten, and I want to bring that back. Not like I'm gonna be like the powerhouse of bringing Irish fiction back, okay, no, but at least for people that are still interested in that, and or just open-minded. I mean, there's a space for Irish and Celtic books on Amazon, so there is a need and a want, and it's enough that people look it up so much, and there's an Amazon book section for it, so I think that is really exciting. So if you like magic and you like badass characters and you really want to be entertained, but as you're reading we're talking about difficult and maybe even controversial topics, that is also I think very appealing to quite a few people. Number 8, who or what inspired your book? It was a dream, and I barely remember the dream. And it's not anywhere close to the dream. It was just that it was Ness and Finn, so Finn is her love interest, and they were hiding in a forest because people were trying to find them because they ran away. That really started it off, and when did I start writing? I think I was 18. I was still in high school, but I was 18, and then I was like, no, I don't like this, and I took a long time not writing it at all. It just sat there and collected dust, and then around, yeah, like 2020, when I was still on Wattpad, people were interested in it, so I finished the rest of the, well, no, I didn't even finish it, I rewrote it, and then I decided not to stay on Wattpad anymore, but now we're here, and I still really love the story, I love the characters, and though the inspiration is nothing like the book, I don't think that's a problem. I think that is just how stories happen. Number 2, where did the idea come from? That was the same question. But yes, from a dream when I was 18. And last question, it's number 4. What actors would play your characters in the movie version? I have no idea. I don't keep up with actors anymore. I just don't care about them. I have other problems going on. It might be a little hard because like the majority of my characters have red hair. But you know, we're staying on point, okay? We're just gonna stay on point with the red hair. I think we need more redheads in life in general. So, and I know that there were a lot of people that said, oh, red hair and green eyes are extremely rare, and why is it always like in books or whatever, because you can't find that in real life. I'm like, you can't find that in real life. I don't have red hair, but I have green eyes. So I have half of it. And then my grandmother has red hair and green eyes, so there you go. But if we're talking about the history, and during this time period where it does go into the history of the waves that happened, the immigration waves, I should say, that happened in Ireland, there is a distinction that you see between Ness, who is Celtic, versus another character who is Furbolg, and he has dark hair and dark eyes. He is not a Celt. He was there before the Celts ever happened. And that is part of history that people don't know about. It's really complicated, but that is mentioned. So there are some people that aren't red hair, freckles, green eyes, but you can definitely tell that there was a mixture there, or there wasn't at all a mixture, and there's that type of dividing line of that particular character, why he chose to the side that he's fighting on in this war. So there are a lot of subtle things in Danu's curse, and I am hoping, as of today, as of the almost end of April, to publish it in the fall of this year. I have been having some issues with my second book and publishing that. I hope it's not going to transfer over to Danu's Curse, but I mean, I think everyone is very much aware that there's stuff going on in the world right now, and it's a difficult time, and I'm working on it. That's all you can do, working on it, not giving up. And I'm definitely not going to give up on any of my books, specifically in this case, since it's still a writing in progress, kind of, sort of. We're not giving up on Danu's Curse. Thank you so much for watching my WIP tag. Have a great rest of your day. Bye.